standing on the medical way with you by my side. I've been standing on the medical way with you by my side. I've been standing on the medical way with you.
Okay, so it's begun. Matthew Doolan, thanks for being on the Spin Industry podcast.
How are you?
The one thing I didn't mention in our conversation earlier is that this one in particular, this episode means a lot because I think back in, I really don't remember when the 311 video dropped, but that was my first impression of you was the 311 video. And for a long time, that video was my Spinstructor. There was a huge volume of tricks in there that I attempted to emulate on every shift. And I think that video helped me more than practice did. Of course, obviously after practice, I went to YouTube and this stuff, and yeah, Doolan popped up. Pretty tight to be face to face like this now. It's almost like it came full circle. I guess not face to face, but
I have heard that from a few people over the years about the 311 video, and there's been a lot of people who have expressed how, different things that I've done have pushed them or gave them a little more passion for the same thing I have passion for. So it feels really good, and it feels even better because, that's just like me at my widest scale of going, I'm just going to do this. And, everybody makes me feel great about it. And I appreciate it just as much as y'all appreciate the fact that I'm doing it. Like I don't do it for like ego or be like, haha, I did this, or like for money. Like I do it because half the time people come up to me and they go, yo, I loved that. And I'm like, yeah, I did too.
But that wasn't your initial motivation to get in the job though, right? You initially started presumably because you needed a check.
Well,
all right.
My brother actually had gotten hired by his friend Spencer Haley, old spinner, and he was good. He was pretty good, especially for at that time. Like there was like 15 tricks, like back then. So like he was good. He knew 10 of the 15. Like he was damn good, And he recruited my brother and his friends, and they weren't caring about the job. They were, bullshitting it and fucking around and everything. And then my brother goes, hey, they'll hire you too. And I was like, what? And I go, what do you guys do? He's like, we spin this sign and point it towards the business. I was like, what? I thought it was awesome. And like immediately, I was a 14-year-old kid. I get to go play with a sign and make money. Like, yeah. I'm like, I'm going to do that. So like they're off like bullshitting and being like kids, like, well, they're at work. And I'm at work, like trying to learn the kickflip and trying to helicopter. Like I'm trying to do it, And then there was one day that like I got in trouble with my dad and I couldn't go to work. And I called my boss, Ryan Dorr. He looked like Justin Brown, but punk rock, right? And I called him, and he just immediately was like, "Okay, well, you're fired." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What the hell?" So like, I thought I was fired. I was a 14-year-old kid. I called Mike Kinney like maybe 3 months later, and I was like, "Hey man, I was wondering if I could get my job back." He goes, you just stopped coming to work. I was like, no, Ryan Dorr fired me. He goes, oh, come to practice. We'll get you working this weekend. I was like, what? Okay. So I went to practice and Justin Brown was there. And I say Ryan Dorr looked like punk rock Justin Brown because I swear to God, for the first like 20 minutes of this practice, I thought it was Ryan Dorr who had gotten a haircut and took out his lip rings.
Oh, someone that he just cleaned up.
Yeah, like he cleaned up, and I was like, this motherfucker fired me for no reason, but it was Justin. And he was showing us tricks, and he was being arrogant as shit. And he was like, all right, now ride the sign like a horse around the whole intersection. And I was like, no. He's like, then go home. I was like, no. He goes, then ride the sign. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I went into the sign pony. And then that summer they had the first ever AArrow boot camp. I was 15. They were I show up to the office and everybody's just waking up and Justin's walking out like in like shorts and no shirt. They're like, Boy Wonder. They're like, Are you ready to run this boot camp? He's like, Yep. I'm like, Okay. I meet Ira, and he's like, Hey man, help me find my wallet. I fell asleep last night. I don't know where my wallet is. So I have to help him find his wallet. I met all like the super like originals, like just at this first ever boot camp. Mike Patterson was at this boot camp. Randy Jenks was at this boot camp. Jeff Genero, all the big times,
The day
and
oneers.
and I was this 15-year-old kid, just at practice because I love science spinning. My dad dropped me off every day. I'm not even getting paid. I'm just going because I just want to. And Justin taught us 90 tricks in a week.
Yo, that's
And
wow, unheard of.
and from there, I was gone. You weren't getting me back. Science spinning was my thing. I started recruiting my friends Teddy and Mark McNaught, and we met Robert Sizemore and Blake Watson, and we started hanging with them. And we were all passing tricks off and spinning at each other's houses because we had signs, and going to Vegas every weekend for work, and just having fun and spinning signs. And everybody at our school thought we were weird, but we were like, yo, we're living life. We got money in our pocket. We're in Vegas every weekend, and we're in high school. We're partying. We're having a good ass time, and we're going out partying with signs in our hands and just like till 3 a.m. having a blast. And it was dope, and turned 18 and I took my GED and I got out of school because I just was like done with school and I wanted to work more for AArrow. And I was at my friend's house, and like Joe Amber had to tell me this conversation because I did not remember it. Because he called me the next morning and he was like, Hey, make sure you pack your bag. I'm sure you don't remember agreeing last night, but yeah, I'm still gonna hold you to it because I feel like you were honest when you said you have nothing keeping you here. So be ready at 4 o'clock because I'm taking you up to Sacramento. I was like, huh?
Is that your first time being offered a trip outside of I'm assuming your hometown?
To move, yeah.
Oh, to straight relocate.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I moved to NorCal. And when I moved to NorCal, I was there with Justin and Dijon. And we were there for a roundtable pizza campaign at 20 locations, 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we were there to recruit, hire, and train and build the market in 2 weeks before we got the shit off the ground. And we did it. Joe Amber drove up the night before with like 4 more spinners and signs and shirts. Hit an ice patch about halfway up to NorCal to where Mike Kinney and Justin went down on the MDX and had to go pick everybody up and drop everybody to work in the morning. We all made it.
Wow. I didn't know there was black ice between here and there. That stuff is dangerous. You can't see it coming. Yeah,
man. It took out Joe's car. I think it was either his Spinfinity or his 4Runner. I couldn't remember if it was his QX4 or his 4Runner, but it took it out. But we made it, and we were all going to spots every day and getting our asses kicked to go do these roundtable spots. But we did it, it was tight. That's like how I started getting big in AArrow,
So you started on the West Coast? IOMS wasn't the first place you worked for?
I started in San Diego, bro. Mike Kinney was my original spin instructor.
Oh yeah, speaking of OGs. Man.
Yeah, Mike Kinney and Max were the first people to train me, and then Justin was the guy who like took over my training. It was like my mentor. He was like my mentor of life. Man, like I adapted so many characteristics from Justin growing up because I just looked up to him, because there was like us, like the 16-year-old kids. There's Justin, like the 19, 20-year-old kid. And then there was like Max and Mike and them who were like 23, 24. And so it was like just different age groups, but Justin was like the midpoint. So he was cool with everybody. He kept us in line. So that way, like we could all kick it. But then like, he also like, eased the blow from corporate to us because they'd be like, quit being fucking stupid. And just, hey guys, cut it out.
Yeah. The anger translator.
Yeah, exactly. So it was always real cool to have Justin. He was, he is still definitely a big, influential, great, big part of my life. Like I am who I am, and he has a very strong contribution to that.
I can see some personality traits that kind of run parallel between the two of you.
And once I mention it, you start noticing it.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the sense of camaraderie and compassion among your colleagues. That's definitely a parallel. Um, it's pretty cool to hear you talk about who you were looking up to at that time, considering how many rookies and veterans alike look up to you currently. Um, that being said, was there anything that you found difficult in during your come up? Because um, you make it look pretty easy. Are there any tricks that you were struggling? Something that like
Well, you,
you
you
know?
got to remember a lot of the tricks that Justin and me and Dejan and a handful of others do now are tricks we had to create.
Mm,
So that was a lot of times of being at work and, getting into the wrong position and then trying to recreate it. Spending at night with each other and then being like, wait, what was that? Do that again. And trying to recreate it, and so like that was probably the biggest struggle for me is creation, and then finding different variations and, always being a tough critic, like it only looks so cool from the inside of the flips and the spins. You don't know how
yeah,
cool some stuff looks from an outsider perspective. So it's a completely different story.
it's true. I did want to touch on your creative process when it comes to assembling your combos. Um, it sounds like a lot of trial and error. Is that an accurate assessment, or is there something I'm missing?
Um, no, it's actually letting go. For me, sign spinning is my best form of emotional and expressive release and moments of, shutting my brain off. Like I think a lot. I'm one of those people who have a very loud inner monologue. I am always hearing myself talk and speak in my head about a million and one things. I have to contain myself from like blurting out a lot or randomly hitting people up because I'm always going. But when I'm spinning, there's none of that. The spinning and playing guitar. Those are the two things where I'm just like, I can't, like, I don't think. But spinning is something more natural. It's like, like when you brush your teeth, you have a certain routine,
Mm-hmm.
and like it just feels like blank. Like that, you don't have to think about it. You just know how to brush your fucking teeth. You just know how to put your socks on. That's how sign spinning is for me. And most of my creation and 90% of the community is going to hate me for this. And then the 10% who understand are the people who are starting to get to this point. I recreate accidents.
That's a common theme. That's a super
It,
common theme.
I recreate accidents. And it's because, I went to that boot camp when I was 15, and Justin gave us that foundation of 90 tricks. And I still firmly believe that, like, once a year, whether it be like TSSC in Texas and like more people come out, so that way we have a big draw and we hold a big ass boot camp, and we teach like 50 tricks in the boot camp. Like I taught 70 tricks to freaking 30 Germans with like a partial language barrier in a week. Like I'm pretty sure I can teach 50 tricks to Americans that all really respect me and look up to me. Like, like I'm sure I could. And we should still do a boot camp every year because that foundation is one thing. And then the ability to improv and the encouragement of originality and being unique. And also being loose, like I always say, like with the sign, like you're not in fucking control, like the wind's gonna beat you, like rain will beat you, heat will beat you, like the sign will beat you. Like the sign doesn't have feelings. Like if you guys get in a fight, like, yeah, you might beat up the sign, but the sign's just gonna mean mug you while you beat it up. You're gonna feel the pain. So,
Yeah.
you're really just a guide. It's kind of like when you're like teaching a kid like how to ride the bike. Like, yeah, you give them a push at first and then you let them go. You kind of just like make sure they don't fall over, and that's kind of how sign spinning is for me. It's a guide. I push it where I want it to start from, and then after that, it just does its thing, and I make sure it goes in the right direction and keep it in its lane like a steering wheel.
Hell yeah. Um, I going to your analogy with brushing your teeth. Whenever you're trying to develop a new routine or you feel like exploring a new creative direction, metaphorically speaking, would that be like brushing with the other hand? Because sometimes I'll do tricks with the other hand and it feels super foreign. Um, do you find any creative directions in doing it that way or like doing something backwards?
Well, for me, it's more like when you wake up, if you're brushing your teeth, and then you think about, I should be brushing in circles on all of my teeth for 20 seconds. And so you start brushing in circles for 20 seconds on each part of your teeth. So it's instead of just blindly brushing your teeth, now you're actually like doing the motion.
Hmm. So it's like muscle memory with a little bit of a letting
Did you
go.
just convince me to do a blowjob motion on camera?
No. Are you still interested in competing after judging recently?
I don't know yet. Um, I knew you were gonna ask me this, you piece of crap. Uh, okay, I love competing, but I hate competing. And I love judging, but I hate judging. And it's all equal across the board. It's 25, 25, 25, 25 across the board. Okay. You know, because when it comes to judging, I like knowing that I am making sure that everything, like this last year, like me and Greg watched everybody's video at least 5 times for every round. 5 times every round. That means out of the 70 submissions first round, we watched 350 sign spinning rounds.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
that means second round, we still watched 100 sign spinning rounds. And we tried to be very objective. We tried to be very fair, and like, it feels so good to be involved and to contribute to the culture like that after I was on the other side for so long. So that's something that's super cool. But man, I wish that every single person before a competition and after the competition, I could sit down with them for 10 minutes face to face and talk to them. And the reason is because I want to have the opportunity with every single person to thoroughly communicate in the proper connotation of tone everything that is to go on with the competition and everything that did go on with the competition. So everybody can feel good after it, because after I went through it, I made a lot of one-on-one messages and phone calls explaining, the location thing wasn't we were taking points away. It was that you weren't getting extra credit for not going anywhere cool. It wasn't that we weren't giving or that we took away style points because you did this or that. It was that you didn't get extra credit for this. There's so many different things like that play into it, and that me and Greg would call each other out on, and we would spend hours going over this stuff. And I wish that people could have seen what we did, heard what we talked about, and we got to see the whole process, because there's so much that was missed that also made me appreciate so much more how hard everybody else worked in the past, and also made me mad at myself for the times that I was a shithead and was being like impatient or like ignorant or whatever.
yeah.
But I think, to answer your question without it being like a Trump answer, because I'm not going to do you like that, okay? I'm not going to dance around it and be like, I don't know. I'm not going to do you like that. I would love to compete, but I want to wait till it's bigger, and I want to wait until everybody can get something out of it, win or lose, no matter what. for the sake of myself and for the sake of everybody else. I would love for the fact of the matter that like if there's 40 people in the last 2 rounds in Vegas or wherever we do the competition, there's rumors that it's being moved, but Vegas is the home of it.
Yeah, man, that's where they host Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, we probably won't move it, and if we do move it, it won't be for a while. But we're a small company. It's not a huge sporting event yet, but it's something where it's like, when it gets to that point, I'd love to do it because I don't want to take away from anybody else. I was watching a video before we met this. It was one of mine, and like I normally watch videos of myself, and I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I hate watching videos of myself. And I know that's everybody here is probably like, whatever, dude, shut up. Okay. Like, I get that. But, for me, it's like, I watched that video again and I was like, all right, I could spin. Like, goddamn. Like, that was crazy. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember doing that. I don't remember editing this into the video. I'm like, that was tight. I love moments like that because it's very few and far between. And I know you feel that too. If you record yourself ever, you're like, I don't like that. I don't like that.
I think that's perfectly normal though, because I often hear that a lot of artists aren't satisfied with their art, or they don't feel like they've translated the idea from their head to canvas properly.
That's why I didn't win for years.
It wasn't what was in your head.
I was overthinking it every year. I was always trying to push out this fucking vomit of tricks in my head, and I never could properly do it.
Oh god, yeah, because then you forget sometimes like key tricks that you wanted to put in there.
Well,
just because you're overthinking it.
2019, throughout the year up until competition. No, it was after 2019, up until 2020. Okay, I don't want to toot my horn too hard. Okay. After 2019, I had created my competitive sign spinning guide. It did get me second in 2020. I followed that shit to a T in 2020. Got me second. So
hell yeah.
It works, y'all. It might just be me. I don't know. But I followed it to a T. I felt like it really worked. And it was because everything in my 2019 year, it had to do with just really keeping it open and having fun, dude. Like when I went out there in my final round, I was just literally having fun. Like Justin and Toast looked at me and both were like, you won't. And so I was like getting all cocky and I was like, oh, watch this. And so I wasn't even thinking about comp. I was just thinking these two motherfuckers just said you won't. Like, I'm going to do some shit. Watch this. I got a badass song for this round. This is going to be tight.
There's a couple of things I wanted to touch on. The first one is I'm glad you said it's not a major sporting event yet. I always make it a point to include yet on a lot of things. The second thing is when it comes to your round, did you have a routine mapped out in your head that covered all the bases that you were aiming for? That was purely an 8 Mile style freestyle, huh?
Well, no. Okay. It's there's an outline. Okay. You know how you make the outline for the schedule, but you don't put the names in?
Kind of like making an outline of an essay real quick. All right, this is what I'm going to talk about. I'll work out the details later.
Yeah. So I think about all of my rounds like this. Okay. Well, I specifically always reference it to my final round. The first 2 rounds to me really, are just nerve wracking for no fucking reason. And I hate that shit. And then the final round actually is calmer for me because there's not as many variables. I can, I'm very mathematical. I can be like, okay, this is who I got. I've beat him before. I've only beat him once. He's beat me like 5 times.
Yeah, and you don't know how they're feeling that day either, or or in comparison to how you're feeling that day.
And I'm all for whoever wins. Like I've always gone up, shook every champ's hand, and been so happy for them. Like I've never been a bad sport about it. But like I go in and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be some filler, cool little shit up until the song drops. When that song drops, it's gonna be a banger right when the song drops, and then after that, it's just bangers. the rest of the time. And that's how I think about it. You know, like I always think about there should be a build, not much. You know, you shouldn't build for like, you know, a majority of your round. You should build for probably about a third of your round and then just go hard, you know, because, you know, there's money on the line.
Yeah, it is important to manage your time too, though, because if you spend too much time meandering or just pacing around the ring, I can squash your score.
Yeah, you know, if you don't have enough strong original big tricks, you know, like Kadeem, like that motherfucker can walk around hyping for 10 seconds of his 45-second round and hit all his bangers and still always be in the top 3. But that's because nobody can hit his shit like him unless it's Mucho, and still Mucho doesn't spend much time on slowing it down and being elegant, you know. The next person I feel is like a top contender against Kadeem when it comes to slowing it down and adding so much elegance to their style is Evan Vaughn.
I was going to say Jacob Mitchell, personally.
Well, no, Jacob Mitchell is like the tech vert or spin vert, or whatever the hell you want to call it. You know, he is the guy who can properly coordinate tech with inverts in the most beautiful way possible. Like he's opened up a whole new world. You know, that's a whole new style in itself. There's tech and there's inverts. And he was like, nope, there's
the
both.
Attention to detail in the invert and then things that are happening within the invert are where I think his style.
Hey, I highlighted in a TikTok. He did a Rings of Saturn extra flip while in a no-handed cartwheel.
That's also an issue of timing, because
timing, control, strength, athleticism, equilibrium. Like, goddamn, you know how many things you have to think about? You know, it just pointed out to me that by Eli, who created equilibrium, the whole reason that I haven't been able to do that trick yet is because my ass is so scared to stop looking at the ground when I'm upside down. I always look at the ground. And so, yes, that does mean all of my upside down tricks and invert tricks, I am blind.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a high risk maneuver.
Yeah, I'm always looking at the ground. I'm never looking at the sign, you know, but that means it's like, yo, you legit like just stop looking at the ground. Like, I got this. Where's the sign? Okay, it's right there. You want to go ahead and just set it right here on my pinky toe while it makes 3 rotations before I pop it off, blow you a kiss, and land. Like, eat shit. Like, God
that's
damn
being comfortable upside down.
In TSSC, he won because he did a Jamaican Me Crazy, posed, looked at the judges while upside down, and blew a kiss, all while on one hand, and then took the sign out of his legs.
Attention to detail.
Motherfucker. Oh, my God. Makes me tingly thinking about it.
I really wanted to kind of do my own version of I mean, I've never won a competition, but I do think there's a couple there's some criteria to follow in order to I guess exploit the point system. I don't want to say exploit the point system because I mean ultimately the name of the game is points at WSSC.
Well, no, it's hard to exploit at WSSC, and I'm going to tell you why. It's easy to exploit an audit because there's strict guidelines in a very, very, very much smaller area of gray.
Yeah, I think there's more of a cookie cutter effect to auditing.
Yeah, but when it comes to competition, man, it's discretion of 2 to 4 people depending on the competition. And that discretion changes based on what people think are different. Like, you know, Larry Fuller might feel that style is much more important for a competition setting and also have a very high understanding of technical ability. And so he's somebody who grades hard on style and grades hard on tech. You know, and then you have someone like Justin who's seen it all and he's very balanced. You know, between it all, he's very tech execution style. You know, Horatio is much more on tech and athleticism and execution. You know, so all these different styles differ. So, and you really got to think about it. You know, an audit, you can kind of be like boom, 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 boom. You can burn through it, you
Yeah.
know, to an extent, you know, to get a quality audit. But competition, you know, like I heard from Greg that one of the biggest complaints about competitions up until this last year was that they don't have time. They don't have time to, you know, really spend looking at the rounds and really thinking about the scores that are being pushed along, you know, where they still get accurate scores, mind you, but it's an issue of, you know, they want to spend more time watching everybody's rounds. That's why me and Greg put in so much effort watching everyone's rounds this year. That's why
Yeah.
even next year for first round, we're probably going to keep the virtual platform. And then everybody who gets to the second round gets to go to Vegas.
I was gonna ask, do you think it's easier to make the decision? Like, I often wonder how many times the judges were in a scenario where they wanted to see that again or to watch a replay of what just happened. I feel like the virtual version of the competition allowed for that, but it sounds like watching it that many times is more effort than obviously it's more effort than the latter. But is it more effort than it's worth? Is it worth keeping to you?
I like the virtual platform for first round. For second and third round, they need to be seen in Vegas. They need the crowd. You know, like something that every competitor I talked to almost complained about was the fact that they didn't get to do it in front of a crowd this year.
Yeah, that's a big variable that changes. The crowd
I
feedback.
need a crowd. I
Yeah, you need to know what's
need a
tight.
crowd. Yeah.
It's like performing stand up with no audience. No one's laughing. How do you know
It's
if it
it's the same
slapped?
thing. Like I hate practicing by myself unless I'm on a shift. If I'm on a shift, like I can spin and be by myself. But just going outside at home or by myself at the office and practicing, like I can't get in the zone.
Hmm.
You know, I at least got to go out with somebody and be like, "Yo, watch this." You know, or I got to have an audience. You know, maybe that's probably why I can spin a shift because I'm on a corner. I have an audience. You know.
Yeah, the feedback helps. I think it's also a I don't want to say a burden, but another challenge for the spinners to overcome because when you're watching your competition live, I think that was part of the reason why round one was so nerve wracking. You're not sure how much you should let go and how much you should hold back, and you're not sure what everybody else is holding back. Like, what if?
I'm gonna tell you right now. This is gonna help everybody, and you guys are all gonna go, yeah, yeah, whatever. No, I
Oh, that's
promise.
what they came
Okay,
for, man. It's what they came for.
go hard every round because I've seen so many people be like, you know what, I ain't gonna put it all out first round, and then they get slammed, and then they
Mm-hmm.
gotta go again second heat, and then they're nervous, so they choke,
Yeah,
and they're like, man, I should just went hard. I'm like, yeah,
that should just be
you
your mode.
You know, like I've made that mistake too many times. And like then I scrape by into the second and third round by like the skin of my teeth. You know, so it always is a mental game and it's always yourself that gets you in your own way. You know, it was always me that got in my own way anytime that I didn't rank where I wanted to. And that's why I was always a good sport about it because I always knew it was on me.
Mm. Um,
Yeah, but never hold back. You go as hard as you can. It doesn't matter. And if that's all you know, you do that same thing 3 times. It doesn't matter. If it wins, it wins.
your
Do it.
execution could improve by the third time. And that's one of the things I feel a lot of people overlook is that although y'all might be doing the same tricks, if somebody executes it that much cleaner than you, then there's the point and there's the match. You know what I mean?
And if it's clean and if it's crazy enough, who cares if you do the exact same routine 3 times in a row? Is anybody else doing it? No. Like that's like Alex in Germany, dog. That guy is nutty. He could come out and he could do his first round 3 times in Vegas and he would get in the top three. Like if he
That's
could
proof.
recreate that 3 times in a row as clean as he did in Vegas over and over again, and he keeps practicing and he keeps getting better, he might be our first international champion. Yeah, I said it. He is goddamn good. And I'm so glad I had a hand in training him, because the amount of his quality of tech and his control has gone from here through the roof.
It wasn't fair that he went first.
Oh my God. Every time too. It's so terrible.
It's just happenstance by alphabetical order. I think it was Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, who said that if the teacher asks a question and somebody else raises their hand and answers it because you were too scared, then you deserve to feel that shame because you held back. That's the lesson, is if you want to avoid that, don't hold back. And I think that runs parallel to what you were saying about your first round.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Perfect. So it's a testament, man. It holds true no matter what sport you're in.
Yeah, dude, you gotta go 100% in everything. Like that's like what we were talking about before this. Like right now, I've just been in this mood where I'm like, that could make my life easier if I could figure out how to do that. It's 2021. There's probably already something for it. Let's find out.
Yeah.
There is? Okay, I'm going to use that. And I've been doing that with like everything in life, you know, and it's just been helping me, and it makes me feel good because I'm like, knowledge. Like, I love it. You know, it's awesome. And so it's such a just great feeling just to go through that and just learn more.
Pretty cool to see the rise of Doolan from 14-year-old rookie to world champion.
Oh my God. Yeah. I promised myself I'm not gonna, for nostalgia, say any of my old mannerisms that insinuate to my shitheadedness when I was younger.
Has your music taste changed since you were younger till now?
Absolutely not.
Still the same? What do you listen to? Like, what gets you?
Fucking everything.
Everything.
Man, you should see all the crap I listen to. I listen to jazz. I listen to classical. I listen to freaking EDM. I listen to rap. I listen to like random pop. Like, yo, man, I go so hard to Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. I don't care what any of y'all say. Like, that song goes in, and I'll be on the corner getting it. I don't care. That's a great song.
Yeah, I'm a closet Swift fan myself. I don't blame you.
It is what it is, dog. If it's poppy, it's trendy. If it makes me move, I love it, you know? Especially when I'm at work. I used to be so afraid to dance, you know, at work. And now, like, when I'm tired, like, I'll just be goofy dancing. I always think of that old video Word Up by Korn, and everyone's just like dancing goofy around. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I don't care. You know, I'm a freaking science spinner. They probably think I'm a crackhead. Shouldn't I be acting like a crackhead? Who cares? You know?
Yeah, man. They just the difference is we're in a uniform and we got a sign.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do actual crackhead stuff. I do just like goofy. I'm just goofy, you know.
And my skateboard actually has wheels. Speaking of music, you mentioned that you played guitar. Are there any other creative avenues that you're exploring that we're not aware of?
I do a lot of random shit. I play guitar. I fiddle with a bunch of little stuff. I really like folding clothes, and I fold them very neatly and quickly. I have a lot of kids, so I fold a lot of clothes, and it calms me down. So I like folding clothes. I used to skateboard. I don't skateboard anymore. When I was younger, before I ever started sign spinning, I thought that I was never meant to like skateboard or do extreme sports or anything, but like to be like a professional scooterer, because I was like hella good at hitting gaps and like stairs on my scooter and shit.
Yeah.
You know, but I think like the main thing is like playing guitar and stuff. Like I hadn't had a guitar in 10 years, and I just got a guitar again, and it's been like the best thing in the world.
I know you listen to everything, and I don't blame you for it. Good music is like good food. Doesn't matter where it's from, who made it.
It's for the soul, man.
Yeah. If it elicits an emotional response, who am I to judge? Yeah. I was going somewhere with that music. Oh yeah. So music being like food. I have to ask this based on where you live, but Whataburger or In-N-Out? Who wins?
It doesn't fucking matter to me. Right now, for me, food is consumption. It's been like that for a while. I haven't really had too much preference of food unless it's like chicken wings. Like I love chicken wings, so like I'll have a preference about that. But other than that, I haven't had too much of a preference of food at all. You know, I just eat where I eat. If I had to decide life or death, In-N-Out, dude. Like for sure, like In-N-Out. You know.
All right, so you were born and raised in Cali. All right.
Yeah, no, In-N-Out for sure. And I have like my go-to that I get every time there that I recently had to change because I'm lactose intolerant. So now I can't have cheese, but it's still fire. But a Whataburger I still enjoy. It's still good food, you know, but like Whataburger takes a long time because they cook your food fresh then and there, and you're always waiting a long time. It doesn't matter what time of the day you go there. In-N-Out takes a long time because it's 1,000,001 fucking people there.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty equivalent either way. And they make your food fresh, but that's because they're just always making burgers because they're always so damn busy.
They can't stop. That's the reason why they're fresh. They just can't stop.
They can't stop, you know? But like, I really miss like the In-N-Outs like in LA where they're like double-sided. So you can go on like both sides of the In-N-Out and order food. And I love being in the passenger seat, but go on the other side. I want to be on the
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, that's cool. They service both sides of your car.
They don't have those here in Texas. They just have the one-sided In-N-Outs. And it's cool, but you know, I always love the double-sided In-N-Outs.
I just wanted to get your opinion now that you moved from here to there. You know, that's like the great debate on social media. I
am definitely though a transplant like Texan. You know, like I have grown very fond of Texas. I do want to move back to California when my kids are older and I'm a little more sustained, you know, and go back to San Diego because I love San Diego. I've lived all over California and San Diego's my home. And but I love Texas. You know, like I didn't like Houston for a while. Last time I went to Houston, I was like, I like Houston. You know, I've always loved Austin. You know, San Antonio is just kind of a little too historic for me. But and I love Dallas. I love Dallas's skyline. You know, I love the area here. You know, it's just grown on me over the years. When I first got here, I was like, "Fuck Texas, some cat." Yeah, you know, like I was.
How did you end up there?
My first son, Sammy, was about to be born. His mom at the time was about 5 months pregnant, and her mom and dad got jobs out here. They were like, you guys can try to make it happen on your own in Cali, or you can come out to Texas with us. And we were like, all right, let's go to Texas. So I came out to Texas. There was a franchisee here who owned a bunch of Liberty Taxes and owned the Dallas franchise. Worked for him for 2 weeks, and then he forfeited the market to corporate. And then corporate, Max had called me and it was like, hey, if you want to run it, you can. I was like, I already have another job, dude. You know, like I'd gotten a second job and I'm just going full time with them. I need to worry about my kid, you know, because Sammy was about to be born. And then another franchisee the owner of Liberty Tax, Danny Hewitt, came in and was like, I'll run Dallas. And he offered me a salary and I was working with him for a little bit. And then he didn't want to do it. And then Patterson hit me up and he was like, you know, I love you, Doolan. Because I've known him since I was 15. He was at the first boot camp. You know, I've known him a long time. He tried to get me to go to DC and work for him so many times. And I was just like, no. And he'd called me when I first got to Texas. He was like, come down to Houston. Fuck Dallas. You and your girl come down. I'll put you up. You know, I'll take care of you. And I was like, nah, I'm going to stay in Dallas. And then when Dallas came up for grabs, he goes, I will get Dallas because you are in Dallas. And I was
That's
like,
a hell of an investment.
I was like, word? And he was like, yeah. And he got Dallas because I was here. And then I was such a shithead to him for so many years. I left and came back so many times. And he got the market because I was here. That's the only reason he got it. And so it was like such a slap to the face. Yeah, it was such a slap to the face. You know, and we're really good now. We're great friends. You know, we're great colleagues. We communicate well. You know, we call each other out and we do it without emotion. You know, there wasn't always that, but we have that now. And it's really cool. There's a lot of reciprocated appreciation back and forth.
That's dope. I wanted to ask, where do you draw your inspiration from? What gets you? Is there anything that you see or anything that you hear that usually triggers the creative process for you in terms of sign spinning?
Pressure.
Pressure. In what way?
All types of ways.
Like to better yourself, or
I have my own pressure to always be advancing. I have this notion in my head: when you stop motion, you're dead. So like I'm pressure of myself, and then pressure of our community. As our community gets better, I want to continue to stay with the curve. And I've always done that. You can ask Justin. I've always stayed with the curve. I was one of the few that did. And also just a life pressure. I know that if I'm always one of the best, I'll always have something that I can pull value from. So I always have that pressure, and pressure has driven me to do many things in many different aspects in life. And it's my fuel. Rather than letting it push me down, I let it fuel me.
Pressure typically comes from many different directions in life. So there's pressures from family, there's pressure from work, and there's pressure just to from your own creative outlets. How do you find a balance for everything, including because I know even fitness is a major commitment, and it's something you have to make time for. What does an average day look like, and how do you make time for everything and balance everything? Because that's something that I feel a lot of people get overwhelmed with too, especially when they're trying to. Obviously, a lot of our spinners jump into this because it's flexible and it works with their school schedule too. So that's something I was kind of interested in talking about with regards to the great balance.
Albert Einstein had one outfit, 7 different like replicas of that same exact outfit. He believed that he did not have to waste brain and thought capacity on thinking of what he had to wear if he already had what he liked to wear. And he also saved 3 minutes a day by doing so. And it felt that 3 minutes a day throughout the entire year, throughout the extension of his life, was more valuable than worrying about what he had to wear. So in that sense, time management. I could send you my agenda that gets automatically sent to me from Google Calendar at 5:30 every morning, where it starts with 6:45 wake up, potty, coffee, if you want. But the short end of it is time management, and it took me a long time to learn that. I used to wing it and just remember a bunch of little things and get them done as I remembered them and just act on them. And then I still do that, but I now have an actual foundation of what I'm supposed to be doing each day. Like when I wake up, like I know what I have to do. And if I don't know what I have to do, I look at my agenda. Then I build my task list and I go through my entire day. And it's a lot, and I don't take days off right now. Like right now I'm spending 5 days a week. 2 days a week I'm doing admin and management work. Before or after, I'm doing stuff, with my family. Like we just finally got medical insurance, and going to different doctor's appointments, trying to get Lila set up for daycare, visiting my parents every so often, because they can't come visit me. My mom's like bedridden. Going and picking up my kids who live an hour away, like there's just so much to do. So you have to plan. If you don't plan, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So you got to at least have an outline of what you're supposed to do. You got to call ahead of time. You got to get that immediate answer from somebody. You got to make the phone call instead of waiting on a text or an email, so just takes the extra steps. So, act when you think about it and try to manage your time as best you can and set something that can hold you accountable. It sounds cheesy, and everybody has heard that for years at all the conferences. And, Josh Knows goes through time management while everybody rolls their eyes or falls asleep because they're hungover from the night before. But that's all shit that honestly has been shaping me so much better recently.
That's massive. I had a thought about that. Oh yeah. It's massive because it's the simple things, and the two takeaways I got from maybe the last half hour, 45 minutes, whatever we've been doing right now, the two takeaways I've got from this are outlines and efficiency. And I feel like I should have predicted this response from you, considering your most recent discovery with efficiency on your last project.
Yeah.
But yeah, efficiency and outlining. So outlining your day, much like you outline a routine, and then be efficient with your time. Don't waste any of it, much like you wouldn't waste your round. I find so many parallels between life and sign spinning, man.
Well, and just when it comes to like, parallels with life and sign spinning, yes, be efficient. Yes, have an outline, but also be willing to adapt. I mean, everybody talks about Murphy's Law, but then they forget about it. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And instead of, letting your life fall apart when it does, find what you got to do to fix it. Because if you don't, you're not helping anybody. You're just hurting yourself.
And you stay in that position longer too. There's obviously when it comes to sign spinning, fitness is a really big thing, and I think it's obvious that we have to take care of ourselves physically by eating right and training correctly and strengthening the things that we use every day. It sounds like nothing, but it's crazy if you don't work out your legs, how much harder it is just to stand up, right? Or even just climb some stairs. But my point is that I feel like, as we were talking about earlier, mental health is also one of those things that's overlooked in this industry. And we were talking about roasting as a form of camaraderie. And I
Yes.
feel like part of the reason I wanted to elaborate on that and mention that part of the reason why I think we do this is because we're aware of how society views our job sometimes. And I feel like that type of roasting is almost like an exercise mentally to prepare us for the real world. Like we can't let some of these external factors, I guess, hit us and impact us negatively. And that's why I think mental health is a topic to touch
Don't
on.
fucking overcomplicate it. It's not because of that. It's because we all have an ego, and when somebody does something better than us, we got to break them down to make ourselves feel better. That's what we're human, okay? We all want to be the bigger person. That's the way I am the best. No, I am the best. No, I get more. No, I get more. And it's natural instinct. The
Isn't
problem
that
is,
healthy competition in this environment, in this particular industry, though? Don't you want that kind of competition to be like,
there is an extent, and what it is this is it's not so much that people have grown more sensitive. It's that the people who do not like that type of camaraderie or those types of jokes are now choosing to speak openly about it instead of keeping it to themselves and let it break them down. And that's what it really comes down to. There's a few people that I've, that I'm friends with, that I've spoken to, that spin and all that, that they don't have a problem being like, yeah, I don't like that. That offends me and it hurts my feelings. And some people might be like, oh, feelings, blah, blah. Well, no, it's like they said something. They could not say something and then just go home and paint every night and like secretly hate you, but instead they decided to say something about it. Like, I think that's the healthiest way to go about being an adult. It's just being like, hey, I don't like that. Thanks.
absolutely setting boundaries is important. Especially if I don't know. Yeah, man, I don't want to elaborate on that too much because I know we got a little amount of time, but yeah, setting boundaries is definitely important. I know I'm backtracking a little bit on this one, but the thought that I lost earlier with regards to time management and even combos is that it is definitely easier to go with the flow than to try to resist it and manipulate it to bend to your will. So I just wanted to squeeze that thought out before I forgot it again. I know it's unrelated, but
No, absolutely.
is there let me just check the time one more time. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Is there anything you want to end on before we conclude this podcast?
How much time do we have?
I think about 5 minutes. Oh, okay. Okay, I got one. And it is kind of related to competition. I want to know what motivated you to steal Teddy Hale's helicopter in that spinoff.
So in 2009 at WSSC, we were in a tiebreaker in the final round. And then it went to a tiebreaker for the final trick. I went for a trick that I very rarely land, and I missed. Teddy did his signature, and he won. And as I was proud of him and still happy with my ranking, I knew that one day I would only be satisfied by pure vengeance of defeating him, whether it be at a World Science Spinning Comp or even a local comp. So then, naturally, when we're in the last round in a tiebreaker at a San Diego comp, I was triggered, and there was nothing that was going to stop me from losing, even if it meant compromising our friendship for a little while, in which we could not talk about that competition for 3 years. And afterwards, even though he drove with me to competition, he took the fucking train home because he did not want to ride with me home. He was pissed. He was pissed. And anytime that anybody shared it or shouted him out, he was big mad. He laughs about it now. We all do. But there was a point in time where you could not bring that shit up because it was so disrespectful. And all Justin said was, well, now that's a rule. You can't do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And from that day forward, it was written.
Yeah. So I was doing the sign pony because I thought I won that shit. You know, like I was hitting my victory lap around the ring. Like I was like, I just hit all my bangers. I won.
Yeah.
And then I see this motherfucker going for a helicopter toss scissor catch. And I was like, nah. And I don't know what came over me. I just was like, drop sign, catch helicopter. And I just ran over to him and jacked it and walked away. And I was in more shock than I think anyone else was. I was like, yo, I really did that shit. I really took it. So I looked at him like, I really took it. Oh my God. It was crazy, but it was funny. But he was mad.
I think the only other moment I've seen that compares to that in modern history was the moment when your boy Mike Wright snapped the sign in half and Kuhn tossed him a new one.
I went up to him after that round. I still talk about it to this day. I went up to Mike Wright after that round and I hugged him so hard and I go, that was by far the coolest shit you've ever done in your life that I've ever seen you do. Because like I told you, we used to roast him when we were growing up. Like he was like the little homie, you know, like we always used to mess with him. Like he was like, you know, like the squeak of the group, you know? And so we always just joked on him. But I went up to him, I was like, that was the coolest shit I've ever seen you do. Oh my God.
Yeah, then
I
he
was
hit
like,
final form.
I go, did you plan that? He goes, nah, but it was awesome.
I know that you said your last round wasn't planned per se. And I think that would kind of qualify it as an art. What are your thoughts on sign spinning as an art and sign spinning as a sport? Because if it is an art, how does art compete with other art?
Everything is art, and art is not competing with each other. You can't compete one art to another.
But we have to crown first, second, and third, though.
No, you don't.
Oh,
Everybody can just recognize talent. That's how artists are. Nobody's the best. Some people might say, "Oh, that is the best," but there's really not to my knowledge. Okay, not to my knowledge. Like a heavy thing of people regularly competing art. You know, like that's something that comes from you. You know, a lot of times certain arts are very, very intimate. Music, you know, painting, like sculpting, so many different things. It's so intimate and it's so from you, you know, and sign spinning to an extent can be like that, you know, like it can be very emotional. Like if you're having a bad day and you just like take it all out on your sign, like that could be a lot.
Agreed. I think a lot of the some of my favorite things about the Angelus videos was I feel like they captured more than just the sign spinning. They also captured the emotions in sign spinning by showcasing their faces while they were spinning too. It's just, if it is an art, it does feel kind of funny putting a first, second, and third on certain creations. But it also, I think going back to the music reference, it's kind of like Billboard charts. You know what I mean? Maybe this is what's hot this year. And
Well, yeah, it's like, and it does trend in different ways. But like what I was trying to say is like everything is an art, but there are some arts that, you can structure a competition around. Like there's art in football, dude. There's art in basketball, like some of the shit they do there. Like look at the Harlem Globetrotters. Like, I know they're not like on the NBA, but goddamn, like some of the shit they
yeah,
do, it's
dude.
blows your damn mind, and you look at so many different things and yeah, like that is their art, dude. And yeah, we can't form a competition around it. So are we an art? Yes. Are we more of a sport? That too. We're a little bit of everything. Do I want to see it flourish as a sport? Yes. Does that mean it couldn't flourish as an art? No.
This makes me feel like I asked the right person because I feel like I was just enlightened. This is why fighting is called martial arts, right? And what do you know? They compete,
Right?
Um, well, that was pretty insightful. I think that's a good way to end this. How do you feel?
I feel good. Oh yeah, did you want to talk about my like weight or something? You said something about that.
Yeah, I wanted to know. That was another thing. I want to know what speaking of drawing inspiration, what inspired you to do that? Like what pressure did you face that made you want to change that?
Max.
Oh, all right. No, friends that cares tight too.
Well, he came up to me at TSSC and he goes, Doolan, how much do you weigh right now? I was like, I don't know, about 300 pounds. He was like, don't you want to be healthier? Like, don't you want to lose some weight, dude? Like, I'm worried about you, man. I've never seen you this heavy. And I was like, yeah. He goes, I'll make you a deal. He goes, I will pay you. It was like, what was it? It's like $5 or $1 for every pound you lose or something like that. He offered, you'll get this much money for every pound, $1 for every pound you lose, I think.
Financial pressures.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I weighed myself, and I had already started to lose a little bit of weight, so I'd gone down from like 300 to 280, and I started there. I weighed myself, and I was like, I'm at 280 right now. And I lost 40 pounds before competition, and on New Year's Day, I sent him a pic of me at 240, and he sent me $400.
Yeah.
And he even paid for my gym membership so I could go. Like he was like, I will do whatever I can to motivate you to do this. And then I started to, and then the pandemic hit and I gained another like fucking like 25, 30 pounds back. And I was getting heavy again. And I was filming TikToks for fun. I was bored. I downloaded TikTok finally and I was bullshitting on TikTok. And I was looking at some of my videos. I was like, fuck, I'm fat. My God, I've got to lose weight. Like I got to do something. And then when my wife went down with COVID. And when she went down with COVID, we were broke as shit. And I couldn't work because I had to take care of her and the kids. And we had to quarantine off the house. And I had to section her off in a room because none of us had COVID, but she did. And cook all the meals for everybody every day. And I didn't want to waste food. So I looked up a calorie deficit. I was like, man, can I like survive not eating all my calories? And I saw all this stuff on dieting with calorie deficit. And so I started structuring my calorie deficit around my family's leftovers because none of them finished their food.
That's resourceful. That's
so I started
man.
making my meals out of it. And it was always smaller meals than what I'd normally eat, but I was just going. Yeah. I was just getting shit done and I'd just snack as I went and started increasing my metabolism. I started just having weight fly off me. And in like 2 or 3 months, I'd lost like 30 pounds. And I went to the gym because my buddy was like, yo, you look like you want to lose weight. Let's go to the gym. I was like, yeah, okay. And I had just been at work and knew I was losing a good amount of weight because I had done a jump rope for the first time in 5 years. And I was like, I started tearing up because I was so happy I could hit a jump rope again because my gut was out of the way. And I weighed myself and I was at the gym and it was 233 pounds. I had lost 37 pounds in that 3 months.
Hell yeah.
And I was
feels good when clothes fit better too. That's like my favorite.
Yeah, dude, this shirt is 2012 WSSC shirt in XL and I couldn't fit into it before.
What about those the Korean WSSC jackets? I ordered mine and I didn't fit in it till recently too.
No, yeah, I fit in my WSSC jacket now. I was stunned about that
That's the best
recently
feeling.
too. And all my German gear fits me really good now because all my German gear is like European fitting, so it's all a size smaller. So
Yeah,
even though it's all 2X, it was really 1X, so it all fits me hella good now.
that's what's up. That's
Yeah.
that's really inspiring to hear because I know there's a lot of other spinners out there that are also trying the same journey, and there's also I just think it's an important topic to touch on because as sign spinners, when we're in the field, sometimes we don't exactly have the healthiest options out there, and sometimes we fall victim to those options. You know what I mean? And sometimes we don't spin as often as we used to, and
Everything in moderation. Try to sustain from alcohol because all it does is ruin sign spinners, make them late to work, and get them fat. And if you got to eat shitty food at work, don't eat a lot of it because it's just gonna make you tired.
as you know, I know it's not for everybody, especially depending on like your output, your metabolic rate, all that stuff. But sometimes I found that, man, fasting is better than just taking that Mickey D's real quick.
I did intermittent fasting when I was doing my dieting up until 2020 comp, and man, like it had me feeling as good or better than I feel right now. And so I had eliminated sugar entirely. I was only on water or black coffee up until 2 p.m. And then between 2 and 8, I ate whatever the fuck I wanted as long as it didn't have sugar in it. And I was dropping weight like crazy and I loved it. And I had so much energy after like day 4. After day 4, I was just like waking up like going.
Yeah, dude.
I was hitting the gym. I was going to work. I was freaking just all over the place.
Yeah, it's paradoxical how much energy you get when you cut out sugar.
Yeah.
That was the biggest struggle for me was removing soda and afterwards trying to fight the urge just to go down the street to 7-Eleven real quick because it's like right there. It's readily available. You know what I mean?
Oh
What
no,
was the most difficult
I
part for you?
procrastinate and I'm lazy as fuck. That's why it's easy for me to diet.
I'm not
Like
going to 7-Eleven at all.
I'm like, man, I really want some fries right now. I'm like, but I don't want to cook them. I was like, it's better not
Yeah.
to eat them right now. You know what I'll do? I'll go get an apple because that's stupid easy, and I'll sit there and I'll eat I eat the core of the apples. Like I love apples. So half the time when I want a snack, I go and get an apple or I go and get an orange. After you peel an orange, you don't want to eat anything fucking else because you just spent like 5 minutes peeling the damn fucking orange. So
At least
I'm
it's
always fine
packaged.
after that. Yeah, right.
It was dope. Well, man, I wish you the best on health in the career, in the family. This was really dope. Like I said, it's really cool to see or to host somebody that I used to look up to in video format. And then obviously, and one day we ended up meeting. That was tight too. But
This is the
yeah,
last
life
thing
is
I'm
full
going to
circle.
touch on, and you can finish with this. Is it's so funny because I am somebody who this is going to sound kind of dark, but at the same time, kind of kind. Don't judge me.
I'll
Okay,
do my best.
I care so little about myself, and I care so much more about other people that just the fact that you guys go out of your way to, make sure it's known to me, like, yo, like, this is really appreciative. Like, I've always wanted to do something like this. I've looked up to you for a long time. Like, you've helped me do this. You've helped me do that. Like, that is the moments in life that make me love living. When somebody comes up and says, hey, that joke was funny as fuck. Even if it was something like that, man, that makes my day so much more than when I just have my own private accomplishments. Like people say they thrive on just keeping something to themselves. I'm like, how? I have to tell everybody. I want people to tell me how awesome that is because it makes me feel so good. It makes me feel better than even looking in the mirror and be like, you are awesome.
Maybe that's a quality that is, I don't want to say exclusive, but that's a quality that you definitely need to have in this industry. I mean, with regards to feeling good about contributing or doing something, because at the end of the day, when you look at what you did in 24 hours, sometimes it's more than just a check. Like if you're a recruiter and you went out there and you hired some people and did your job, it's not that you did your job. You provided an opportunity for however many people you hired. And ultimately, you put jobs in your community. And that's something to feel good about. That's something to feel cool about reciprocating. It feels good when someone even just says, beyond thanks for the tricks and everything, but just thanks for the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a cool quality to have, and I would suggest that that's something to look out for when you're recruiting or
Absolutely.
considering the job for yourself. But
Oh,
anyway,
and you know what I realized? We're not as strapped on time because you probably normally record on a much higher quality camera than your webcam on your computer. And right now, you're probably only getting maybe even a gig, maybe
oh
two.
yeah, totally. On the notebook right here, we're good. I just I just don't know what's up with our phones right now. You said yours stopped like 20 minutes ago. Mine probably
Oh,
stopped like
yeah.
30 minutes ago.
Yeah, my shit stopped a minute ago, but we still have this at least.
Yeah, we'll still bounce back and forth between
Yeah.
angles and make it look like it didn't run out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, well, this was tight. It's been real. I really appreciate. I know it's late on your end, so I super appreciate this happening.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this. I guess this is the part where we say bye to everybody else.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.